Almost 2 years ago,
We've had some break-ins in my neighborhood, and there's a real suspicious guy.
the shooting of Trayvon Martin sparked outrage across the country.
We just wanted an arrest, and we got it.
Join the Foxxhole's executive producer, Jamie Foxx,
We are with you no matter what.
along with Trayvon's parents and supporters.
Trayvon Martin was my son. It's very important that we not forget.
From Miami, Florida's Carroll City Park, this is the I Am Trayvon Day of Remembrance Peace Walk.
How's everybody doing? Y'all ready to get this started? All right. I hope we'll have a real good time tonight. Today, this afternoon, tonight. My name is Rick Party from Hot 105. The parents of Trayvon Martin are here. Sabrina Fulton, Tracy Martin. Y'all make some noise for them. The families of Tequila for She, they're over here. Father Glenn for She and their whole entire family. Y'all make some noise for them. Now we'll get this started right now. Y'all ready? Come on, Pastor.
It's offering time.
Yeah.
It's offering time. It's offering. Y'all act like y'all never been to church before. Y'all act like y'all never been to
Come on, Eddie, get him going. Get him. I asked Eddie, I said, are you a pastor, man? Tell him what you do for a living.
Oh, I just play the piano at the church. I just play the piano, I try to make it talk. And, if you feed me real good, I'll make it cuss if you want it.
There you go. All right, Eddie, we're going to keep it going. We're going to bring out the executive director of the Trayvon Martin Foundation. She keeps everything together. Y'all making some noise for Kim McCrae, y'all.
Good morning. Today is about your grandchildren, your sister, or your brother. You see, since it's gun violence, it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter the age, the gender, the ethnicity, but the Trayvon Martin Foundation is here for you. The Trayvon Martin Foundation is here to advocate against senseless gun violence, to let the world know the impact that it has on the victims, the families of the victims. The Trayvon Martin Foundation is here to increase the advocacy so that the world will know what happened to Trayvon should not happen to your child or your next door neighbor's child. But the Trayvon Martin Foundation is here to increase awareness about all forms of profiling. The Trayvon Martin Foundation is here. Let's say it together. The Trayvon Martin Foundation is here. And we are here. And we're going to start talking and educating our kids from the 4th grade. That is important because we want to make sure that they know of the dangers of gun violence. And we're going to work with them from the 4th grade through graduation. And they will be a part of the Trayvon Martin Institute. I want you to know that the Trayvon Martin Foundation is here to educate our children about conflict resolution techniques. And most importantly, we stand boldly to support families. We want to give them moral support and financial support. That is important. It is important to this foundation. One thing that I want you to realize and one thing that I want you to know, today is definitely not about us, but today is about you. I am Trayvon. You are Trayvon. We are Trayvon, and thank you on behalf of the foundation for being here, being a part of this day of remembrance.
All right. Kim McCrae, y'all. Kim McCrae, the Trayvon Foundation. Coming to the stage right now. Y'all make some noise for Senator Oscar Brayen II.
How y'all doing out there? All right, all right. You know, I'm up here with my son because we're up in Tallahassee fighting because Trayvon was everybody's son. All of our sons. We want to make sure that this never happens again and that there's never some sort of law that allows these type of things to happen again. Make sure that we have some controls on the guns that are causing these violence out here. And that's what we're doing. And we want to thank the foundation and we want to thank the family for helping all of me and my colleagues in the State House and in the State Senate that represent our community. Because the ones that don't, they're not helping us. But the ones that represent our community, we are fighting. We're not forgetting. We did not forget. When the news goes away, when they're no longer writing articles, we remember. And we thank you very much. Amen.
All right. Oscar Brayen, Senator. Y'all having a good time? We got to keep that chant going too, y'all, all right? So I'm going to divide the room over here. We got a special guest coming up. So over here, y'all need to say, I am Trayvon. Over here, y'all ready? Let's get the chant going. Keep it going. Keep it going. I at the point. What about in the back, y'all? See all the signs over in the back? The AKAs are here. Miami Gardens, make some noise. Miami, make some noise. Carroll City, make some noise. Keep it going. Make some noise for Sabrina Fulton, Tracy Martin, all our guests. We're going to have them coming up in a second. Y'all keep it going. I love y'all out here. All right. Now, Eddie, right now we're going to bring up Parks and Crumps. They're the ones who were side by side with Sabrina Fulton, Tracy Martin. Y'all make some noise for them right now, y'all. Parks and Crumps coming to the stage.
Miami, I want you to repeat after me so Trayvon Martin can hear us. Hoodies up! Hoodies up! Hoodies up! I am Trayvon. I am Trayvon. I am Trayvon. Thank you on behalf of Tracy and Sabrina, Trayvon's mother and father. I'm going to bring some very special guests up with Tracy and Sabrina, people who have stood by them from the beginning and let them know that Trayvon was not just their son, but he was all our son. And as Sabrina has said, it's not just my child, it's your child, it's all our child. If it can happen to my child, it can happen to your child. And we got to know that, and we can never let this legacy die. I was just telling Michael Baisden when I was in Morocco and Portugal talking at a law conference, Jamie, little African children, when I went up to talk, they said, I am Trayvon. So what you all have done has started a worldwide movement right here. Your native son. They will all remember Trayvon Martin. I want to acknowledge some people that Sabrina and Tracy have been encouraging along the way because they're going through similar journeys to what they went through on February 26, 2012. The family of Oscar Grant came from Oakland, California to be with us today. Some of you saw this movie, Futeville Station. Will you all please stand up and be acknowledged? his mother and father, uncle and aunt. Also, you may have heard in the media, and I know Michael and Jamie and so many others have been trying to get the word out about the value of all our children's lives. And Tracy and Sabrina has been an example for so many how to have dignity and grace in the face of just unbelievable loss. You may have heard of Kendrick Johnson, the 17-year-old kid who was found rolled up in a wrestling mat in Valdosta, Georgia. His mother and father sent him to school with a book bag. The next day, he was returned to them in a body bag. Their parents are here, Ken and Jackie Johnson. Please give them a round of applause. And attorney Shaveen King. My co-counselor is here. Raise your hands. A little closer to home, you may have heard of the tragic circumstance of Keywan Bird right here in Miami, Florida, who was shot by a security guard at the nightclub. And as we predicted, Jamie and Mike, if the killer of Trayvon was exonerated, everybody who killed one of our children was going to be saying, stand your ground. And that's what happened when this security guard shot Keywan Bird. The first thing he said was stand your ground. And thank God for you, Miami, because y'all stood up. He was arrested immediately. Keywan Bird family is here. Please stand up and be recognized. His mother and his sister. Just a few more close to home, and we have to do this because it's important that these people know they're not standing alone. See, Trace and Sabrina knew you all had their back, and we need to know that you all have these individuals back. Sabrina called me one morning about 6 months ago, and it was so tragic. Her and Kim McCray, the foundation executive director, and they said there was a young girl getting ready for school, and getting her hair done for the first day of school, Tequila Forche. And because of some foolish, senseless gun violence, a stray bullet came and killed that child on the first day of school. Her family is here. Y'all please give her a round of applause and let them know you're standing with them. You all have saw the execution in the vegetable garden. That was Marlon Brown and Jamie. Some of these things you just can't believe. This brother was driving and the police said he didn't have a seatbelt on. And they had a high-speed chase because they said he didn't have a seatbelt on. And when Marlon Brown got out the car for a seatbelt violation, allegedly, the police drove at a high velocity of speed and ran him over and killed him. And it was captured on the dash cam video, but then the police in DeLand, Florida said that the car didn't hit him. You all watched Marlon Brown video, and we stand up with his family and his children to say, our eyes are not lying to us. You can't tell us anything. You just watch that video. It's called Execution in a Vegetable Garden. Y'all please give his family, his children, his wife a round of applause. They're here with us supporting. Last, but certainly not least, you know, when we started this journey, Mike, and you were there on the radio fighting it with us, and I remember when Sabrina and I saw Jamie at the NAACP Image Awards. It was something I'm sure Jamie will talk to you about what Harry Belafonte said to him. And back in those times when Harry Belafonte and Dr. King and them were standing up, it was a cause that happened to a death of a young man that was the catalyst that put the face on what was happening to our black children. And that individual was named Emmett Till. And we said often Jamie, that we're going to see how much progress we have made, because this really is about the value of our children's lives. And that's what Martin Luther King was talking about when he said, the measure of a man is not where you stand at in times of comfort and convenience, but where you stand at in times of conflict and chaos. Like when they're killing our children on the street, are you going to look the other way? Or are you going to stand up and say, you can't do that to our children? Well, thank God, 50 years ago, over 50 years ago, people like Dr. King, Ralph Abernathy, Harry Belafonte, so many others, Thurgood Marshall, they stood up when they heard about the tragic circumstances of Emmett Till and the fact that his mother was courageous enough to put his mutilated body on that train in Money, Mississippi, and have it taken back to Chicago, open casket, so everybody could see what they were doing to our children. Please give a warm round of applause to Emmett Till family that are here with the Trayvon Martin family. His granddaughter, a huge round of applause. Emmett is still here. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the distinct honor of bringing some people who just refuse to be silent, even when everybody would have not held it against them for being silent, who said that, you know, we have this influence and we're going to speak up. I figure I'm a pretty good lawyer, but I can't say it better than this individual, because he has been so articulate in the cause of Trayvon Martin. He has not wavered nor vacillated. He has used his platform to tell people all over the world, Hollywood and beyond, that Trayvon Martin life matters. This other gentleman been on the radio telling people every day when we were in the heat of the battle that Trayvon Martin life mattered. And after they come up, they're going to be joined by Trayvon's brother, Javaris Fulton, and Tracy and Sabrina. And I just got to say this, Javaris is the best example of what Trayvon Martin was going to be. Javaris, please stand up, man. I mean, the best example. College educated. Great. So, without further ado, thank you, Kim McCrae. Thank you, Hope Buchanan. Everybody who worked behind the scenes of the Trayvon Martin Foundation, T. Holloway, the mayor, all the elected officials, the leaders, all of you. Thank you all. And I want you to make some noise first for one of the baddest brothers ever to appear on a movie screen. And after he finishes, one of the baddest brothers ever to talk on the radio. My friend, your friend, he got a lot of movie titles. I get in trouble every time I start talking about Django. And I go all the way back to Wanda. He has some beautiful young guests with him. Folks, y'all give it up for Jamie Foxx.
How we doing out there today? Make some noise right now. First of all, I don't want to take too much time because I know y'all burning up out there, but I know it's hot. I see the church fan going at the hallelujah. Jesus is hot out here, Jamie. My God, Lord Jesus. They said, Jamie, why you got that Trayvon Martin shirt on? That ain't in no more. It's in Hollywood. I said, well, Trayvon Martin's still dead. And his mother still grieves. Father still grieves. His brother still wonder where my brother at. But I got to be honest with you, I wasn't as brave at the time when I did meet Sabrina. I'm walking on the red carpet with my own daughter, who's 19 years old, not really understanding. I'm taking for granted that, you know, she's living and walking around with me, and we living good. And I look up and I see Sabrina with tears in her eyes. And she walk up to me, and she I don't say this a lot, But she whispered in my ear, they killed my baby and they're trying to get away with it. And I said, well, they're not going to get away with it. I said, because I'm here and, you know, and I'll do whatever I can. But to be honest with you, I was on some Hollywood, like, you know, I just wanted the situation to just be right for that moment. You know, I was on Hollywood. I was 50-50 that I may come to the march or I may not, because that's how we get. We making our money and trying to be fly or whatever. So I was honest in that moment. But I was also I was a liar at that time. And then Gina's here. Harry Belafonte's daughter is here. Now, I'm supposed to get an award that night. I'm supposed to get a life achievement award, whatever that means. I'm thinking I'm still young, you know. Seems like such an old award to give but at that time, I'm writing my speech on me and what I'm about and how fly I am. And then all of a sudden, a legend goes on stage by the name of Harry Belafonte. And for you young kids who don't know who that is, get off your World Star a little bit, you know, get off your media takeout and Google who Harry Belafonte is. And Harry Belafonte went up and he said, and I'm paraphrasing, he says, the blood that flows through America that is from gun violence is mostly African American. And yet you young black folks sit here mute and y'all don't say nothing about it. And at that moment, he challenged me subliminally. I'm sitting there listening to this and I said, wow, he's talking directly to me because that's who I am. So I tore my speech up. And I went on stage and I said, I apologize for being ignorant to it. I apologize for not using what I got for what my grandmother told me to do, and that's speak up and say what is right. Once I did that, I got a chance to come in and hang out with Mr. Belafonte. And I took my 19-year-old daughter, because my 19-year-old daughter was like, Dad, I ain't never been inspired. I need to be inspired. Well, I said, I think I got somebody who can inspire you. So we sitting there, and Mr. Belafonte looked at my daughter and said, how old are you? And my daughter said, 19. She says, 19? I said, Mr. Belafonte, what were you doing when you was 19? I was coming home from World War II. And once I got home, and I love America, once I got back to America, I realized that I couldn't vote. I didn't have any rights. So myself, Julian, Jesse, Martin, we marched. And I said, hold on, Mr. Belafonte, you saying that like it's a boy band group, like y'all had a record out. Who are these people? He said, Julian Bond, Jesse Jackson. And he said, Martin Luther King. Have you heard of him? As he talked to my daughter and tears ran down her face. And I said, wow, tell us about that. And at that moment, he opened up and said, listen, I was the biggest star in the world. I could have done anything I wanted to do at that time when Martin was getting ready to march for all of our rights. Not just black folks, but white folks, for women, for Jews, for everybody. He was going to march for every single person that ever cried out that please look at me as equal. And he said at that time, Martin Luther King, they put him in jail. He couldn't even march. And they made it sure that the bail was so high that he couldn't get out of jail. So they went to Harry Belafonte, fly, good looking, making his money. Sound familiar? About to take off, about to be the biggest star in the world. And they said, hey, look, you could either go be the biggest star in the world, or you could go down there and mess with them niggas down there. You can go down there and mess with them same black people that got their fist up, them same black people you see all the time, them same black people that are always complaining, them same black people. And you know what he did? He went and bailed them out. Not only did he bail them out so they could march, after Martin Luther King passed away, if I'm not mistaken, he took care of all of Coretta Scott King's bills for as long as she lived. And to this day, at a seasoned age of 87, he's still on it. And he looked at me and said, what you gonna do? He said, you just gonna be young and fly, or you gonna do something? So what I'm doing absolutely is nothing. It pales in comparison to what they've done. I just wanna let you know that Tracy, Sabrina, Javaris, I told them, I said, you got me for life, man. And when And don't hold nobody else. Don't think that Hollywood ain't thinking about you. Everybody that I talk to either want to be here or is tweeting right now or Instagramming or my facing or whatever they call it. You know, y'all young people know what it is. Whatever they doing, but they doing it because they want you to know that they with you. So just because I'm here don't mean nobody else. Don't tarnish their star at all. But I wanted to bring these kids up here. Come on, come on up here, kid. I want to bring my daughter up. Come on up, Annalise. Come on, Bella. Come on, Gabby. It's Gabby's birthday today. Now, the reason I brought these kids up here because, you know, I'm from Texas and we can own guns and we can do whatever we want to. I'm a Texas boy. You know, in the South we do that. But these kids can't get guns. They can't protect themselves. And what I said, whatever happens in the hood eventually happens mainstream. You see what's going on in all these places where people are running into places and shooting up the place. And then there was this one thing I was watching yesterday where the guy was just texting on his phone and he wasn't black. And the dude pulled a gun and killed him for texting on his phone in the movie theater and said, I fear for my life. I'm telling you, everybody has to pay attention to this. So when you talk to your white friends, your black friends, your Haitian friends, said. When you talk to your Puerto Ricans, your Cubans, your Jamaicans, your Dominicans, to everybody in the world, if you got Chinese, ni hao ma. Anybody, tell them all that what happens in the hood eventually gets to your doorstep. Trayvon has to be respected. We have to look at him and we have to uphold his name. So when we come back next year, we're going to fill this whole place up. And we start tomorrow and make sure that Sabrina and Tracy and Javaris feel the love. What's your name?
Annalise.
What's your name?
Bella.
What's your name?
Gabby.
Nice. Now, what's your full name?
Annalise Estelle Fox.
Nice. Now, could you do me a favor? Could you say the books of the Bible for me?
Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 2 Samuel, 2 Kings, 2 Chronicles, Ezra, Esther, Nehemiah, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel, Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah. Jonah, Micah, Nahum.
It's about our kids, man. Let's love them, protect them. We love you, Trayvon. It's about our kids. Happy birthday, Gabby. Happy birthday to you. May you live long. I'm going to go ahead and bring up a God in the industry, a person who on the radio, when we listen to him, he not only entertains us, but he gives us something for our soul and our spirit. Ladies and gentlemen, please keep your hands going right now for Mr. Michael Baisden in the building right now.
What's up, family? It's good to see you guys again. To all the brothers out there, what's up? To the ladies, how you doing? I want to thank Sabrina for inviting me. We had a chance to get together at an event in Orlando. I'm not going to get into the details about why I'm not on the air, but you already know. Trayvon Martin, Gina 6, presidential election, re-election, getting us moving, getting us thinking, getting us acting. They don't want that. Let me say this to you because we need to talk. I'm glad that Jamie set the tone. Because the first thing I did when I got off the air was move to Orlando and start mentoring 28 young black boys at Evans High School. There's a young teacher, 26 years old, named Jarvis Wheeler. They gave 28 young men to him and said, we're about to expel these black boys. And you know what's going to happen the minute they expel those black boys, don't you? They end up in jail, they end up dead. He approached me, he said, Mr. Baisden, would you please come talk to my class? About an hour into the class, I said, I don't want to just talk to your class, I want to adopt your class. So I mentor these boys every week, I'm paying for their college education. Don't clap, because that's what we're supposed to do. That's like applauding a daddy for taking care of his kids. This is what we're supposed to do. And that's part of our problem. We don't understand. We're not angry enough. I'm still angry. Sabrina's still angry. I asked her, how do you feel? She said, I'm not good. And you better stay angry. Because the only time we get active is when we're angry. We're going to get down and talk about some things before I get out of here, because I didn't have a chance to say goodbye. I'm going to say all the things I would have said on the last day of this radio show. When you have an opportunity to have a platform like this, you've got to communicate to the people. It's not about jokes. It's not all about fun and games. It's not about bling blinging in the hood. We are dying out here, man. And for all you ladies out here, the reason why I don't focus on young ladies is because I'm a man. And we need to focus on our young boys. Because although a woman can raise a boy, she can't be an example of a man. And we need more men to be example of men. Now, we have a lot of guys and a lot of so-called leaders who come out here and they talk. But that's all they do is talk. And then some of them will show up on the scene when the cameras are shining. But once the cameras are gone, they're gone. But that's not me. That's not you. That's not Sabrina. That's not Tracy. That's not Jamie. We're here until the end because an experience like this transforms you. You're never the same again. And for those of y'all who don't know the case about what's going on in Jacksonville, oh my, do you all know what's going on in Jacksonville? With Mr. Davis, do you all know that this, and to the white family, we all family. I don't care what race you are. I'm not into race, but I'm into the truth. Now, this white man drives up in the park in the gas station. 4 young men got the music blaring. What's so unusual about that? Hell, I blast my music sometime. The young men won't turn the music down. They get into an argument. Jordan's in the back arguing with the man. The next thing you know, this man shoots 7 shots into the car. The car's pulling away. He shoots 3 more times. And what does he call it? Stand your ground. And then he concoct this crazy story about a shotgun, an invisible shotgun that got poked out the window and said, well, I felt threatened. That's some fraganackle bull right there. All they're doing, this has become the white man's Bible or how to kill a black man guide. Because all you got to do is say you felt what? Threatened. I felt like my life was threatened. Then they come up with this language. I'm going to kill you. You're going to die tonight. It's like they all say the same thing. They said the same thing about you're going to die tonight. Where do they get this? You all better stay angry. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy a good time and comedy and all the fun and games, but you ladies, you need serious men right now. And all these brothers out here, you young men, I apologize because I wasn't there for you the way I needed to be. Us older men have got to step up. There should be a distinction between you and me. The way you talk, the way you dress should be different. I'm 50 years old. I don't want to dress and talk like you. We got to be a better example for our young men. So I'm saying this to you, to all the young people out there. Not only you better get out and vote, because these folks are not playing. They are spending hundreds of millions of dollars. This whole stand your ground thing is not about freedom. It's about selling guns and selling bullets. And they're not going to be shooting in the suburbs, brother. And to all the young people, some of you all need to run for office. You, man, you need to run for office. Stop letting somebody else make the laws. You all got to get into the game because I can't run for office. I don't have the patience. I don't know how President Obama do it. I would have been and cursed somebody out by now. How does this man put up with these people? And then most of us, if not all of us, came from nothing. You come from nothing? See, these kids, y'all think y'all poor. Y'all don't know what poor is. Y'all so funny. We poor. Y'all got flat screen TVs. Computers, got your own room. How many TVs did we have in the house? 1. How many channels did we have? 3. You had 2? Man, how old are you? We had 3. These kids don't know what government cheese look like. My mother was 17 years old with 3 kids. She slept in the dining room. Some of you kids ain't never seen a radiator. There's no excuse. If our parents and our parents' parents could do it with less than what we had, we have no excuse. And last but not least, to Sabrina and Tracy, I want you to know I did everything I could with that microphone. No CNN told me nothing. MSNBC didn't tell me nothing. Nobody did. No newspaper, no jocks. Nobody was talking about this. And then you all tweeted me. You all Facebooked me. You all called into the show. And from that day until I got off the air, and definitely until after Sanford, until that man was arrested, I talked about it every hour, every day, because I felt like that's what I would want somebody to do if it was my son. So to all of you all out there, please don't relax. And to all you brothers out there, man, we got to get this thing together. To all my frats who I work with, big brothers, big sisters, we're traveling around the country finding mentors for our young men. We got to pull together, man. And to all these ladies out here, I'm going to say this because I love to talk about relationships a lot. We got to take better care of our women. And women, you all got to stop being more respectful of your men. Yes, you do. And if you're saying you got a problem with it, you need to check your choices of men. That's right, I said it. You got to stop getting your kids involved in your mess, because you can't get along with your man, you can't get along with your woman. Look at the example that this family, this is why it worked, because you saw an intelligent man, intelligent woman coming together for their child. How many of us could have did that for our kids without fighting on TV over some nonsense? They carried themselves with class and integrity, and that's what made this thing possible. Thank you all so much, man. The fight's not over, and I'm not done with radio yet either. I'm coming back, and we're going to take this thing over. Take care, family. Thank you.
All right. Wait, hold up. Michael, before you come off the stage, come over here. Give Michael the mic real quick. When Michael came off the air, they brought me in to take Michael's place. I could never take Michael's place, but Michael, you and I, we go back to Chicago. Way back to Chicago. And you and I communicated a lot prior to me having this show. When Michael left, I knew the reason why he left, because they wanted to shut him down nationally, because Mike spoke about so many things, man. I just want to say thank you for passing the torch to me, and I appreciate you.
And thank you, brother. And I hope that the problem with local radio, unlike national, is that they can control you locally. And that's what they wanted. They wanted control. Oh, not Hot 105 per se, but just in general. See, they couldn't control me. I played the music I want. I promoted the artists that you all will never hear on radio. And I promoted the movements that I wanted when I wanted. And so that becomes very dangerous when you give a person with that kind of mentality. When you think a certain way, you do become a threat. But when you're determined, nothing ever stops you, man. But Rick, mad love to you, man. Make sure you do the right thing with that microphone, baby.
Make sure we come together, all right?
Here you go. Here you go.
Okay. Next coming to the stage is our commissioner. Give it up for our commissioner, Miss Barbara Jordan.
Good morning, everybody. Did you see that? Wasn't it wonderful? Break every chain. When you have our president standing, addressing Congress, and you have a congressman saying, you lie, break every chain. Because that is disrespect. We have to make sure that this community respects who we are. Every single day we get the disrespect of our children, of our young men, our young women. And it takes marches. It takes sitting down at the table, and we shouldn't have to do that anymore to get respect. But we have to do it. And we thank people like Jamie Foxx and Michael Baisden, and especially Tracy and Sabrina, for helping us to break the chains. You know, it's an honor to be commissioner for District 1, but it's more of an honor to see you out here today. We have to still fight. We have to still make sure we get rid of the stand your ground legislation. We must, because it's used to legally kill our children. We have to stop it. We have to stand up, people. More of us have to speak out. Have to speak out. You know, a simple thing that the president did in terms of the Affordable Care Act, and you read an article in the paper where people are going to lose jobs because of it. That's how the enemy turns something good into something bad. We can't let that happen. What they didn't tell you was that people will now have choices, that they don't have to stay on a job because of health care, that they have a choice to go to other jobs that they may love even better. We have to listen, people. We have to become educated, and we have to help with the fight that Sabrina and Tracy are leading to break the chains. But I want to say something that's also, I feel, very important. We cannot just stand here today. We have to stand with the foundation that they have created. Don't let our presence be the end of it all, because, you know, it's good to come and really let our voices be heard. But contact Tracy and Sabrina, contact their foundation. Make sure you give out of your pocket to help them support this movement in order to break the chains permanently on our children and our families. I want to thank all of you for being here and being a part of this movement, and we must continue the fight.
I want to ask Mr. Jamie Foxx and Mr. Michael Baisden to join me at the podium to help welcome these individuals up. And Mr. Martin, back when he first called me and the lawyers were on the phone and they said, Attorney Crump, we need you to get involved because my son was simply walking home from the 7-Eleven and all he had was a bag of Skittles and iced tea, and Attorney Pat Jones and Tyrone Williams were on the phone. And I remember the sadness and the despair in this father's voice. I mean, you could hear it through the phone. No question, Tracy Martin loved his baby boy. No question. And when Mr. Martin and I were up doing some congressional hearings, we met a young man who suffered a similar fate, and Michael Baisden was telling you about him, and Attorney Jasmine Rand, who heads up my Civil Rights Division. Jasmine reminded me what Tracy said he would do for Jordan Davis's parents, even though they couldn't be here because they're in court in Jacksonville, Florida. He said that we would just have a moment of silence to pray for justice for their family. So if you indulge us just for a second at our agreement between Mr. Martin and Mr. Davis, let's have a moment of silence for Jordan Davis. Thank you. And now, before we bring them up, I want to tell you the Peace Walk was the brainchild of Sabrina and Tracy. And I, like everything Sabrina and Tracy has done in this extraordinary journey to justice, it has been just exceptional because we want to remember Trayvon's life. So we're going to celebrate on his birthday and not at the time he was shot down. We're going to remember his smile. And it was Sabrina Fulton who said that our children have a right to walk in peace, hence the Peace Walk. And Sabrina and Tracy, Jamie and Michael, they expanded it to the Peace Talk. And that's what we're doing here. And now they're going to talk to you as only this family can. Please, without further ado, give a big round of applause to Tracy Martin, Sabrina Fulton, and Javarius Fulton as they come to the stage.
A lot of times we hear, how do you guys do it? How do you get through one day to the next day knowing that your son is deceased, knowing that your son is dead, knowing that your son is in heaven? How do you get to the next day? A lot of people ask us that. And our answer for that is only through God's grace and mercy. a lot of times I talk to different groups, and I can only speak as a mother. And as a mother, we know, you know, raise your hand, moms. You know that there's two things you don't do. You don't talk about somebody's mother, and you don't mess with their children. When this first happened, I told myself, I told Tracy, I told my family and friends that I was never going to Sanford again. I was never going to the Orlando area again. Never. They will never get a single dollar from me. But how many of you know that God will change your mind? When they told me that the person who shot and killed my son was not going to be arrested, I was having dinner with my family. It was about 5:30. By 8:30, I was on the road headed to Sanford. Because if I was one of those people that just sat home and cried and did nothing about it, then I would be a part of the problem. And I refuse to be a part of the problem. See, so even during death, you cannot break the bond of a mother and her son. I say all the time that I have two boys, and I still have two boys. I have one in heaven, and I have one here on earth. Yeah. And as long as I have breath in this body, I will fight for my boys and your boys. Sometimes what we fail to understand is that, yes, it happened to us this time. What will you do when it happened to you? What will you do when it happened to one of your neighbors, one of your cousins, somebody in your family? We can't afford to wait. We continue to lose our children, and we must do something about that. That's why it's so important that we have organizations like the Trayvon Martin Foundation, because we are committed, we are dedicated to fighting for your children as well. One of the things that I want to say is, you guys probably really don't know, just you being here, how it affects our healing, how it affects our well-being, just to see your face. And we can't take pictures with everybody. We can't talk to everybody. But as I look around out here, it just does something for us. I can almost feel my heart healing while I'm standing here.
It is real good to see you all. I'm gonna come from the podium because, man, it's just real good to see y'all. I hear, Sabrina, one thing you can't do, you ain't gonna never be able to outdo women. Never. But the thing I can say is, for those that know me, and just about everybody out here knows me, when they saw me, they saw Trayvon. Me and my friend, stand up, Mel. Me and Mel was talking about this the other day. This is my good friend, Melvin Jackson. We were just talking about this the other day. This is how close me and Trayvon was. I was dropping Melvin home from work, and we came around the corner, and Trayvon was walking with his back to us, and I turned the corner, And Trayvon turned around without looking and said, "There go my daddy. There go my daddy." That was my main man. One of the things that I miss about him most is just watching him growing up, man, and you know, him like sizing me up. I'm in the kitchen and he coming behind me and he's standing behind me and say, "I got you now, bruh." You know, and that's just, you know, those are the moments that I really miss. And I'm, you know, I still have other kids, and I'm definitely gonna live for my kids. I'm gonna live for your kids. The mission of the foundation, man, is to save all of our kids. White, black, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I think one of the things that really keeps us going is that we are real good friends. She thinks she's my boss, and she always want to say she gonna hit somebody in the nose or something. But on a serious note, we understood that after the incident, we understood that we just had to come together and put whatever differences aside. We really never had any differences, because we've always said from the day of separation that it's not about me, it's not about Sabrina, it's about the kids. It's about the kids, you know. You know, I see a lot of young men out here that, you know, one thing that we really have to start acknowledging is the fact that we have to respect our young kids. You know, when you see them walking down the street, even if they had their pants sagging. One of my friends, Andre, said it last night. He seen some young men walking, pants hanging down. First thing come out of his mouth, "How you doing, young man?" And when you talk to the kids like that, they feel respected. They feel respected. So, you know, we have to really start respecting our children, especially our young men. We can't let them get away. They're our future. You know what I'm saying? We're here to plant the seed for them. It's not always about I'm gonna get out the ghetto through sports, because everybody's not gonna make it. Amen. You got to get an education. It's all about educating yourself. And I tell my kids all the time, tell my daughter, get on my daughter. I'm like, man, you know, I sit at home and I got books everywhere around my house. And they want, man, why you read so much? I just read to stay informed. You know what I'm saying? Y'all remember the old saying when we were young, reading is fundamental? Yeah. It is. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. Just if you read the Bible, if you read the Quran, whatever holy book you want, you have to read something spiritual, get God in your life, give your life to God, man. You know, we all have flaws. We all have faults. Nobody is perfect. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is perfect, but we're here. You know, God has placed us here to do something great. You know what I'm saying? We're here to do something real good. And I tell y'all what, man, y'all helping us out, man. And I'm looking around the crowd. I see my brother over here up in the stands. See my brother right here. See my sister-in-law. You know, it's just, I'm just really feeling like this right here is everybody. This is our family. This is our family. Miami Gardens is our family. Sabrina growed up in Miami Gardens. Trayvon done walked up and down 32nd Avenue. And matter of fact, I'm putting a bid in. I'm politicking right now to get that street named after Trayvon. So y'all with me, we gonna get a petition going to get 32nd Avenue named after Trayvon Martin. We gonna make it happen. We gonna make this happen. You know what I'm saying? Just like to thank everybody, man. Jamie, Brother Michael, man, we love y'all. Y'all know this. We done sat down and had long conversations, man. And it's nothing like having somebody to have your back. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's a public figure. You know, when you got somebody that has your back like these gentlemen have, and Reverend Al Sharpton has, and Jesse Jackson has, you know that you're doing something right. So all the bad talk about, I even heard somebody say that we were welfare parents. I done worked all my life. I feel like I done built this country. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never been on, as an adult, I've never been on public assistance, and my kids haven't. So we've always provided for them, but just to know that we feel that we're doing something right, you guys reassure us that we are doing something right. Because if we was doing something wrong, you guys wouldn't be here. You guys wouldn't be here. So we just like to thank you all, man. Mike, we can't thank y'all enough. Jamie, you know we done talk. Mike, we done talk. We can't thank y'all enough, man. We love y'all. Man, y'all stay prayed up. God bless you all.
Thank you.
What acknowledgments there? We got some acknowledgments. Daryl Green, I see you, man. That's my good friend Bo Legs and Jerome. Where Jerome at? Yeah, he think he P. Diddy. But them guys, they actually raised Trayvon. You know, Trayvon played football for me. Okay. And they told me, man, you can't coach your son. I said, okay, I'm going to let y'all handle him. And, man, I tell you, I say, man, I done turned my kid over to these dudes, man. They beating on my son, man. But them my boys there, man. I love them guys, man. Tarona, TT. I love y'all, man. You know, y'all mean a lot to me. Y'all just mean a lot to me.
Once again, we've been blessed. Everybody knows how we get down. This is Jamie Foxx, Foxxhole Radio. This is a special edition. For all of you listeners out there all over the world, where I am right now, I'm in a blessed place. I've been fighting back tears for the past, I would say, hour and a half because I've been in a blessed place. I'm actually in Florida. Where am I in Florida? Where
Miami Gardens.
I'm in Miami Gardens.
Carroll City, man.
Carroll City.
Yes, sir.
Stand up.
32nd Avenue.
I'm on 32nd Avenue, and the reason that I'm here is because we're celebrating a birthday. We're celebrating Trayvon Martin's birthday. There's been a walk. There have been speeches, not speeches, but people talking from their heart, and there have been people performing, which I was moved. I can't tell you how much I was moved. And sitting at these mics, we have Tracy, we have Sabrina, Crump, we have Michael Baisden, we have Gina Belafonte, and I'm so happy to have the parents of Trayvon Martin. And just to let my listeners know, this has been an ongoing relationship with myself and this family. And to see where we've come from the first day I saw Sabrina on the red carpet, and we embraced each other. And I don't tell a lot of people what she said. I said it out today, but I won't even say it on the radio. But paraphrasing it, my son is gone, and is there any way you can help me? And from that day on, with the help of the presence of a wonderful Harry Belafonte that night at the Image Awards, we formed a relationship. I want to start the interview by asking Sabrina, how are you feeling today? What is your where's your mindset right now?
It was just good seeing so many people still supporting us. Initially, when it happened, there was a lot of people that were saying, I am Trayvon. Yeah. And it's just good to see so many people are still there, and they're continuing to pray for us. They're continuing to walk with us. They just continue to support us. And, you know, they just being there, you know, just looking out and seeing so many people, it did something for our healing process.
Because how tough is it? Because I always tell people, I couldn't imagine. I look at my kids and I hold them a little closer on days like this. As you saw, I had my little one with me, and I just had a little talking with my 19-year-old. And how tough is it? Because I know that in a regular situation, you'd be able to go and mourn, you'd be able to go in the quiet and deal with that, and slowly time will heal. But is this like, is it therapeutic, or is it, or does it get tougher? Having to deal with it in the press every day and things like that.
It's still very difficult. but I think we handled it a little better because we are much stronger than we were 2 years ago. It's always fresh on our mind that Trayvon is not here because it feels like something is missing. So that we're going to have to struggle with the rest of our lives, the fact that he's not here. But it gets a little better each day. And his birthday was on Wednesday, and that was very difficult for us, for his birthday, just knowing, he was going to be looking for a cake. And it's just some simple things, when I see kids with the hoodies on, when I see just little boys, little teenagers hanging together, just little things remind me of him. So it still hurt, and it still saddens me, but I think I'm dealing with it a little better now.
So let me tell you something. I know that inside you, I'm sure it's been tough, but from where we're looking, you're Princess Grace. I mean, I've never seen anyone who's really had the reason to go off or say or to cuss or to do whatever or act out, and to watch how you've handled yourself and how you've really sort of been a beacon to everyone that has unfortunately gone through this. It's been nothing but grace. I got my main man here, Tracy. I want to ask you, how do you feel? Because you've told me stories about you. You always said, man, that was my main man.
No doubt.
And how did you feel today to see all of the people out, supporting and everything like that?
It was real uplifting. It just gives you a sense of confidence that the people that are that we surround ourselves with still care, still love us, and it's real touching to see everybody out there. From the smallest child to the biggest adult. Man, it's just good to see everybody out there walking with us, showing love to each other. It's I always say that you get what you give out. So we've been fortunate to, during the wake of this tragedy, we've been fortunate to give a lot of positive energy out. And so in return, the people are just sending us back positive energy. And that's what makes us grow, man. That's what keeps us going. The love and support that you show, the love and support that everybody shows, man, is just it's uplifting,
It really is, and I'm gonna tell you something. No, those performers, man, speak, man. You wrote me down something, man. You know how to talk.
Hey,
yeah, man, I've seen you. Let the audience know who you are. Foxxhole Radio is Jamie Foxx. We are backstage right now. We've just had a remarkable event for Trayvon Martin's birthday here in Miami Gardens,
32nd Avenue.
32nd Ave. Tracy, Sabrina, go ahead.
Attorney Ben Crump, Jamie.
Ben, BC, come on.
Hey, I think what's remarkable is the example they've set for so many families, how to grieve and fight for the honor of their children. And Sabrina and Tracy invited a lot of those families, Jamie, that we talked about, like Kendrick Johnson's family, Oscar Grant's family, Jordan Davis' family, who's going through their trial as we speak now. And it was so great to see. You talk about Harry Belafonte, to have Emmett Till's grandchildren, family here. And it matters because now people have an example to turn to. Even in Newtown, Connecticut, Jamie, those families, after their babies had been killed, they said they were looking to the examples of Sabrina and Tracy.
That's amazing. That's amazing to be able, and that's the other thing, too, to be able to take your message. Your message now is going all over the world. Like someone said, even in Angola, as you were saying, Ben, that the people know about this story. What is the most interesting thing to me is also the grace of this young man right here, Javar, who is oftentimes, I see the quiet one, who has always been, like I said, like a little gentleman. I've always asked him if he'd like to say anything. You don't have to say anything, but I do believe for all of the young kids out there, when they get an opportunity to see someone young speak, it does affect them. How you feeling today?
Hello, everyone.
Yes, tell them who you are, brother.
I'm Javaris Fulton, Trayvon Martin's older brother.
Right.
How I'm feeling today?
Yeah.
I felt pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be difficult, but I guess with the support, that we've gotten and are still getting, it, I don't know, it comforts you, I guess, in a way. Wow. So I'm good.
That's it. Look, short but sweet, man. It's Foxxhole Radio, Jamie Foxx on the radio. I have a radio assassin sitting next to me. I have a radio god, a legend. I'm almost nervous doing this interview. He's looking at me. I would never ask that question. But I've grown to listen to this man when I not only do, like I said, when we listen to his what he plays on the radio, he also speaks to our soul, who is a person who would not let the drum stop drumming when it came down to the Trayvon Martin case when it first broke. I'm talking about none other than Michael Baisden's in the house. Speak to us, brother.
It's good to see you, partner. How's everything?
Listen to that voice. You see that? I'm fantastic. Talk about today and what you said. Give our listeners a little bit of what you thought about this whole situation from day one.
I'll tell you, well, from day one, it's the same response that anybody would have. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
I think Crump said it best when you said, it's just time to step up, right? When something happens, your natural response when you hear a young man has been murdered the way he was murdered, I didn't have to be sold on it. You hear the story and then bam, your reaction is what it is. Right. And then you communicate that to your listeners and say, hey, let me tell you a story. Right. It wasn't a complicated story. The story was this young man's been killed. This is the way it went down. And that's not something you have to sell. You tell that story and everybody's reaction is immediate.
Right.
And so the one thing that I would say in summarizing this and involving everybody in the conversation is come at the time, come at the man.
Wow.
And so as Crump and I talked about, this never would have happened without all these circumstances being perfect. Right. You think about it. First of all, you had a very eloquent mother, a father who was very strong in the young man's life. You had an attorney who could have turned down the case in a minute and said, look, there's no money in it for me, I'm out. Right. You had a national radio personality who was on 80 stations at the time and said, you know what, we're going to talk about this every day. We did the same thing with Gina Six, right? And then you come along and you have a person whose career is skyrocketing at the same time. What is the chances of all that happening at the same time?
Yeah.
And then to have a nice young man as a brother. See, they could go to anything. They could have chosen any aspect of this family situation, and they could have pointed at that one thing, focused on it, and killed the whole thing or tried to diminish what it was. But everything came together so perfectly.
And Jamie, can I say this? It really was everything coming together, because at the beginning when Tracy called me, no media would cover it. Wow. I mean, we called everybody begging them to cover it. And what they have done, this Trayvon Martin whole journey to justice has brought value to everybody's lives who involved. Any child who's killed on the street now, we say Trayvon Martin legacy is going to help your story get out.
And it has.
Sabrina, thank you, Michael. I'm going to come back because I got a couple other things that I want to talk to you about, also about with the radio and everything like that. Sabrina, one thing that I've noticed with you, you've always said it's about the children, and you didn't necessarily lay a label. You didn't necessarily say black child. You've always said a child, and I've taken that message, what you've said, to everyone. Speak about the universal aspect of that.
Because I truly believe that regardless of what color the child is, we just see children. You have people that love animals. And they don't care what type of animal it is. They'll see it on the street and they'll pick it up. Right. Well, I equate that to moms. Moms, we don't care. When we hear on the news that somebody left their baby somewhere or a child was in a car accident, we don't worry about what color that child was. We just think about, oh my God, my heart goes out to that family. Right. It does not matter to us. So we don't see children as being colors, and children are so innocent. And a lot of things they don't know, they not aware of. And so that's why it's our job to try to protect them and to try to provide for them because they don't know. So we don't see colors. We don't see all of that. We just see children, and we just want to make sure that we helping our children so that they can grow up and be productive. We don't want to bury our kids. That's the worst thing, absolutely worst thing we could do is bury our child. That was the absolutely worst thing that I went through.
And when you were burying him, I remember you saying that was the toughest thing when you saw him.
Actually, it was at the funeral. He was dressed all in white. He had like a light blue, powder blue, almost as if he was going to the prom. Wow. You know, and he had this like just almost like a little smile on his face, like he was resting. You know, and that helped. But he just looked like an angel to me. He just looked like he was resting and that he was an angel. And that helped a little bit, but then it hurt so bad. It's like somebody just took my heart out of my body and expected me to survive with no heart. So it just feels that bad. And so that's why I want people to know how much passion. You know, a lot of people say this is a story, this is a story, no, this is not a story. This is our life. This is our life. This is Trayvon's life. This is Tracy's life. This is our life, you know? So it's not a story and it's here today and it's gone tomorrow. No, this is our life and we're going to be here and we're going to keep building that foundation. We're going to keep establishing that foundation. We're going to continue to do bigger and better things each year. We're going to get more people involved. We're going to get more supporters. We're going to have more programming and activities and everything.
Wow, amazing. Where do you see this going? I mean, what do you, like, what in your mind, how would you want this to turn out in order to, like I said, show favor for Trayvon? What do you see it going?
I think, you know, it's just, it's a coincidence that he was born in the month of February. He was assassinated in the month of February. We have this event in the month of February. This is Black History Month. Right. A lot of people compare Trayvon. They call him the modern day Emmett Till. Yes, and just to be on this side of it, and just understanding the magnitude of what we're doing, the foundation. And just looking forward to next year. This year, last year, it was a success. This year, it was better. It was a bigger success. Next year, I know this is going to grow. This is like a wildfire. It's going to catch fire, man. And we're looking to have double the acts, quadruple the people that we had here this year. So we just looking, you know, we staying positive.
That's what I love,
man. It's a positive vibe, man. How can you not look at that picture on the shirt and be positive? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's a 1 in a million look to me. You know what I'm saying? That was my look, man. That you know, it's gonna be big.
And Jamie, can we just thank the Foxxhole audience and Michael for covering it every day? All those people out there who sign petitions, we can never say thank you enough because if the people wouldn't have came, the radios wouldn't have covered it, the newspapers wouldn't have covered it. It was social media, young people, young people of America saying, I could have been Trayvon.
Yes. Is it a black-white issue? Is this a black-white issue?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yes and no, because you have to understand, I'm from the south side of Chicago. Gotcha. So I grew up, I had my first pullover, you know, by the cops when I was a young man. Yeah. And when I say this, I need people to understand where I'm coming from. To be black and socially conscious in America is to be in a constant state of rage almost all the time.
Right.
And what that means is as black men, our experience is very different than anybody else, different than black women. So for me, which is why I target young black men in my mentoring. I work with big brothers, big sisters, who works with everyone.
So do I.
And of course you do. Mm-hmm. And also I work with African American fraternities because I know that what Sabrina and Tracy and the foundation is doing is great. You need a big umbrella because you need those resources. And yes, you want to help all children. But the fact of the matter is most of our children are the ones who are being impacted by the penal system, being impacted by poverty, being impacted by drugs, being impacted by incarceration, by the prison industrial complexes. It's so much deeper. And so you got to recognize that, yes, I work with all children. I help all children with big brothers, big sisters. But my focus, even most whites' focus of their organizations are the children who need it most, which are our children. There's more white women and white men mentoring black boys than black men. So we know that there's a need.
What?
Yes, there's more white women and white men mentoring black boys than black men. So while the problem is universal, our problem is very, very specific.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We are here right now. We've been touched. We've been blessed. We're here at the Trayvon Martin March. We're celebrating his birthday, not his passing. And I want to take time out to TD3 Entertainment. Joy Comes in the Morning. Sabrina Fulton. We're going to play this song right now featuring T-Dog. Am I saying it right?
Yes.
Joy Comes in the Morning. You know what we do on my radio station? We play what we want to play as many times as we want to play it all day long. BDS, holla at me. Absolutely incredible song. Incredible song. Thank you so much for that. That's Sabrina Fulton featuring T-Dog. Joy Comes in the Morning. You know what, Tracy? Man, my sister, little chocolate black girl, dark skin from South Dallas, she said, man, when the daddy talk, it just, I fall apart. It's like she her father now lives with her. They had a separation now. My whole family, y'all been to my house. My whole family lives with me. My stepfather and my mom, who didn't raise me, but now we all live in the same house. They've been divorced for 18 years, which is crazy that they live in the same house and don't kill each other, which is funny because he still have dates. And every time she still have dates, and every time he got a date, she come on to that side of the house, telling me I need to get something out the refrigerator. Me mugging the date. Dixon, something's in this refrigerator spoiled. Oh, hey, how you doing, baby? And all that old kind of stuff. So my sister and her father have a very interesting relationship. Talk about your main man.
Man, that was my main man, as I said before. And I give a lot of credit to him for saving my life. As you know, we talked before. Yeah. I told you how he saved my life.
How did you do that?
He was 9 years old. We had just came from the football field. I asked him, did he want something to eat before we left? He told me no. So we get home. We had been out there all day, tired. So we decided to watch the football game. So both of us wind down, sat on the edge of the bed, started watching the game. So he decided he was hungry. All right, man, you hungry? What you want to eat? Now he decided he wants some chicken wings. I put on the grease and, it dozed out. Both of us dozed out. Yeah. And I wake up, the house, the kitchen is on fire. Nobody's in the house but me and him. So me, not knowing any better, run in there and throw a big towel on the pot on the stove.
You didn't watch Emergency 51?
No. So once it drug the pot off the stove, the grease spilled all over my legs, and I instantly, my body went in shock. So I was kind of unconscious, and when I woke up, I'm calling his name, and he finally woke up, and he came, drugged me out of the kitchen and onto the patio, and I told him, he went in the house, he said, I got to get the phone, and he went in the house, got the phone, called 911, and he actually saved both of us, because it wasn't no way I was going to be able to get out of there.
Wow.
My legs was burnt up.
That's an amazing story, man. Like I say all the time, no stories. Go ahead.
What I reflect on about that whole incident is at the age of 9, how he was able to. Once I got out the hospital, man, I was like, I had to learn to walk again.
Wow.
And I used to get him and Javaris, and they had to change my bandages, man. Just imagine the trauma of a 9-year-old boy and a 13-year-old boy having to change. Yeah. I mean, I was burnt up, man.
Wow. That's something else.
He used to stay in the hospital. They told him he wasn't at the age where he can come in the room.
Yeah.
Man, you weren't gonna stop that dude from being in the room. So that's my guy, man. That's my guy.
Incredible story. Foxxhole Radio is a special. We're here in Miami Gardens, 32nd Ave.
Carol City,
baby. All day. That's how we get down. We've been blessed. Sabrina, I don't want to hold you too much longer. I know that there are a lot of people out there that want to talk to you. Could you just close it up for some words of inspiration or whatever you want us to do? What are our orders?
One of the things I want people to do is make sure they're saying hashtag Trayvon Martin forever, because I don't want people to forget Trayvon Martin. I want them to also go to the website. It's trayvonmartinfoundation.org. That's trayvonmartinfoundation.org. And just see some of the things that we're doing, some of the things that we're trying to do and we're about to do, some of the places that we've been and some of the groups and organizations that we've spoken to. So a lot of times when we speak, people ask us all kind of questions, but we want to tell people to just be encouraged. A lot of times we don't know the answers to all of their questions, and we some of the questions that they ask, we don't want to address. So we still healing. Have we forgiven? No, absolutely we have not. And we just want to tell people that we stand positive. We letting our negative energy go, and we are doing something positive with the foundation. I remember one thing my pastor told me, and the group that you've seen out there, that's from my church, Antioch Missionary Baptist Church. Incredible
performance. I don't know where they could see this, but the Antioch performance was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So maybe we'll get put that on our Instagrams or something, on our website, because that was amazing. Please.
Right, and my pastor is Arthur Jackson III, and what he told me when this first happened, he says trials and tribulations don't build character, it reveals it.
Wow.
So that let me know that whatever is on the inside was going to come out. So whether I was angry on the inside, that was coming out. If I was spiritual on the inside, that's what's coming out. He's saying that whatever's on the inside of me comes out when you have your trials and tribulations. So I just thank God that it wasn't something where I felt like I needed to go murder somebody else. It wasn't something where I needed to act out, and be foolish, because sometimes that's what people do when they're going through trials and tribulations. So it just let me know that I had work to do. Even with the verdict, that just let me know, because I think about what would have happened if the verdict was guilty and he went to jail for 5 years. Well, we really didn't get any justice.
That's true.
You see, so things work for a reason. And so by him being not guilty, it just made us want to move more and want to do more, because now not only do we see it, other people see that there needs to be change.
That's true.
And then lastly, we can do all we can to try to groom our kids, to try to make them productive and try to love them and educate them in things. But we still have to remember, and we still have to educate them on the fact that somebody is going to look at them, and just because of the color of their skin, they're going to judge them.
Wow.
Regardless of how much money they make, how much education they have. It could be a pastor, it could be a police officer. Any of us could be judged at any time based on the color of our skin.
Wow, Sabrina Fulton, really giving us great words to live by. It's Foxxhole Radio. To all my listeners out there, keep listening. We're going to have some follow-up. Crump, we're going to have some follow-up. Baisden, we're going to have some follow-up. Gina, Belafonte, Javars, you have anything you want to leave us with? You tell us.
Thanks for having us.
But there you go, man. There you go. Thank you so much. Trayvon, hashtag Trayvon Martin forever. We're in Miami Gardens, 32nd Avenue. We just did the Trayvon Martin March. Show was fantastic. Celebrating his birthday. Joy comes in the morning. Foxxhole Radio, back in a second. It's Foxxhole Radio. It's Jamie Foxx in the house. And in the house we got
Michael Baisden.
In the house we got
Attorney Benjamin Crump.
In the house we got
Gina Belafonte.
It's going down. Listen, I am a radio show of comedy. We are dedicated to comedy. A few years back, as a matter of fact, 2008, when a young guy, senator at the time, Obama, was running for president, I get a call from, "Hi, Jamie, this is Oprah. Hi, Jamie. And she told me about this guy, Senator Obama, and also from Norman Lear. Jamie, it's Norman Lear. This guy is going to be the next president. I want to talk to you. And so at that moment, we switched up our format. We actually went to the Republican convention. We went to the Democratic convention. We had a Republican day on Wednesday, and we had a Friday, our show on Friday. And so our listeners are groomed to hearing about jokes and hearing about content. So, Crump, if you could talk about the stand your ground law, because right now everyone is confused on what this law actually means. Does this law only exist in Florida? Does it exist in California, New York? We need clarity on that so that when we go out, we're educated on what we're saying.
Absolutely, Jamie. And let me say this to you. Following Harry Belafonte's example, you're one of the biggest stars in the world. You can do anything you want. God bless you for what you're doing, brother.
Thank you, brother.
I mean that. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Stand Your Ground is in 28 states. Florida was just the first state to do it. And I got to say this to Speedy and Johnny Mac because they'll get this completely. We said when Michael Baisden and us were talking about this, if the killer of Trayvon is exonerated, every Tom, Dick, and Harry that kills somebody is going to be saying, stand your ground. Well, Speedy and Johnny Mac in Tampa, Florida, in the movie theater, a guy is texting. A guy goes out, gets his gun out the car, comes back to the movie theater, shoots the guy. And what does he say?
I was standing my ground.
I was standing my ground. I was in fear of my life.
And you know what's crazy about it? Is that the theater was empty.
Yep.
The guy could have moved all the way to the other side of the theater. And if for people who are out there listening, what happens is they get into an altercation, an argument. The guy throws a popcorn back, and as he throws a popcorn back, he shoots his gun, shoots through the hand of his girlfriend and kills him and says, and then they did the trial.
Yep.
And on the trial, he's a 71-year-old retired officer. And he says, I felt threatened for my life. And then eventually, he came to his senses and said, if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't have done it. But he was relying on the stand your ground.
Yep. And so then you fast forward and you say, in the aftermath of Trayvon, what do we do about this stand your ground law? We got to go out and vote in the midterm election. President Obama won't be on the ballot. But remember, they gave us stand your ground when he wasn't on the ballot. Nobody was paying attention.
Exactly.
And they didn't vote down ballot, and they let the stand your ground law, and you want to say it's not about black and white, but remember Marissa Alexander in Jacksonville, Florida, when she shot in the roof and said she was against a domestic batterer, somebody who said in deposition, I beat all my women. That's the testimony. And she got convicted for 20 years.
Now, that's what I want to get into, and this is the part where it's a little sticky, and it's the race part of it. And we always go out with our best foot forward, and we always say, hey, we don't want to concentrate on race. However, being a young man who lives in a very nice neighborhood, and I lived in a very nice neighborhood in Tarzana, California, I was stopped twice a month for 3 months straight. Finally, I just walked into the police station and said, hey, man, can I just write y'all a check, man, because y'all killing my swag. You're pulling me over. I got pulled over one time. I said, hey, man, you stopped me last week. I didn't stop you in this car. Get out. At one point, we were driving home because we would like to have our little moments in Hollywood. We was driving. He pulled over 18 cars.
Wow.
18 cars and made us all get out. And we were all 17 of us were black, And I think one of the dudes was Puerto Rican or something like that. But it's a constant thing where I have to always breathe and I have to always relax myself. Another story, my manager moves into Sherman Oaks, California. Now, this is California. There's something going on in his attic. Now, he Northern California. Something's in the attic. I'll call the police. Police come. He just moved into the neighborhood, so the neighbors don't know him. Police come and draw down on him, pull him out of the house at 2 o'clock in the morning. His wife, who's also my manager, is holding Joplin at the time, who was, 1 year old. She's now 19. And so he says, I live at this house. We don't know any of that. On the ground, you, the baby, and so this constant thing of having to deal with race, Michael, how do we deal with that on both sides, meaning how do we deal with that with the situation, and what can we do to maybe make it easier?
Well, the first thing you don't want the law working against you in the first place. That's a classic example. When you have stand your ground laws, you already have a legal system that even if you beat the situation, you're not going to beat the system. Right. The second thing is don't be afraid to talk about race. Black people are more afraid to talk about race than white people are.
Trust.
And the reason is that we've been so conditioned not to always go to race that we've gone a completely different direction, and we're the ultimate kumbayas.
Right.
You know, we have nothing but example after example of racism.
Right.
More so than ever. It's more racist now. And with the president being elected, we saw racism come out of the woodworks. And even white people are going, this is racist. Right. But even a black person who's on television, who's a journalist, won't say it because they don't want to be labeled as playing the race card.
Right.
So you got to be real with yourself. Last but not least, we got to educate our kids.
Yeah.
In a Jordan Davis case, and I don't want to get a lot into it right now because you never want to blame the victim, right?
Exactly.
But you know I don't know I know you've been out with the film, but you seem very informed about some of these cases. In this case, Jordan Davis and his young men friends admitted they got into an altercation. Okay, he got into a shouting match and used a bunch of F-bombs or whatever else. And our boys need to understand, dude, you're black. Right. You know what I'm saying? This is a white man and you're in Florida, right? This man could pull out a gun, shoot you, and do exactly what they did to Trayvon. We already had the example.
Yep.
I don't think we're doing a good enough job, which is why I mentor, which is why I promote mentoring, of educating our young men about the fact that, dude, you're in America, but you're still black. And you need to deal with the reality of what that means. I know we'd like to think things are fair, but they aren't. And there's certain things that young men, young black men especially, need to be made aware of for their own self-preservation.
And just to the legal precedent set by Trayvon is so troubling because, like Jordan Davis' case, we got to remember, Jamie, the kill of Trayvon, the kill of Jordan Davis, the kill of the sister in Michigan where she went and knocked on the door. The guy, instead of calling the police or not opening his door, opened the door, blows her head off. They all put themselves in harm's way. Trayvon killer didn't have to get out of his car. Jordan Davis killer, as Attorney Rand was telling me, you know, he could have rolled the window up. The music was loud. He could have turned his music up. He could have drove away. He could have called the police. What did he do? He chose to engage the altercation and then shot 7 times.
And he had a script. There's a handbook now for how to get away with killing a black kid. All you got to do is say, I was threatened. He reached for something. I saw something, and then they use the same language. He said, I'm gonna kill you, your day is done. It's the same script.
I'm gonna say something that's probably and I'm gonna get to Gina Belafonte, and then we're gonna wrap everything up and we have other people to speak with. I'm gonna say something that's gonna probably not be taken the right way. In our business, when it comes to entertainment, when you see a person who's African American, who glorifies the fact that he shoots everybody, he sells as many drugs, and he does all of these things, and then he rises to the top of the entertainment business. And I know these guys. I know a lot of them. They all come to my house and we party with them. And what's interesting is most of these guys have never shot a gun in their life. Most of these guys have never sold drugs in their life. I know R&B singers that could whoop all these guys' asses. Most of these guys are educated, gone to college, but they have this persona that I am the angriest, blackest, dope dealing, selling this, gun toting this person. To my white person that says to me, well, Jay, I really am afraid of you. I really am afraid of black men. I really do have my gun on me because every day I see on your videos and whatnot, that's what you do. What do we do? I'm 46 now. So I am considered the older dude now. When I'm hanging out with some of these guys, Jay Foxx, gone with all that, man. Man, gone with all that, man. Let's pop these bottles and whatever. Am I wrong in saying that, or is it just entertainment?
You're wrong.
I'm wrong.
You're wrong. Okay. Because black people don't kill white people.
Right.
So black people don't stick up white people.
But what I'm saying is
the perception. I understand.
But the perception. Okay, I'm gonna be devil's advocate in the most devil's advocate way. I'm in Aventura Mall. There's a lot of white people.
Yes, there
I
is.
felt so safe. Oh, I felt so safe there, Michael. I was walking around and they were getting my autograph and whoop-de-doo, and all of a sudden, ding, there's an elevator. And I saw the perception of what I see every day on videos by 9 guys. They looked at me like they ain't even recognized me. I pulled out the Django box set and the gray. Y'all know I'm Jamie Foxx. Yeah, what's up with it? And it was a tightening of even both of us, and we are black. So the question is like, am I wrong for saying, is there anything that we can do beyond what we're doing here as older guys? Is there anything I could tell a young guy? Is there anything that you could do in switching what you're saying? Because you're really not a drug dealer. Drug dealers don't get passports. You can't travel. So all of these guys that are out there in Sweden, you can't travel once you have a felon, right?
Jamie,
so I'm asking.
Jamie, let me tell you something, because I deal with these boys all the time. Right. See, black people are afraid of black kids. So I understand the premise of what you're saying. Right. But most black people who are afraid of black kids don't really have a real engagement and relationship with black kids. There's very few black men who cannot run into young black kids and not have a perfectly fine rapport. Most of those kids, you just said it, they just look the part. So now we're going to be penalized for somebody else's ignorance, for somebody else's lack of exposure, because all we do when we say that, all we're doing is giving them license to do exactly what they want to do out of their fear. I'm not responsible for your fear. You're responsible for dealing with your fear and ignorance. We've done everything that we can. We don't live in your neighborhoods. We don't have power over you educationally. We don't have power over you politically. So hell, we're the ones who need to be afraid, because they're the ones with the real power.
Right. And just briefly, Jamie, Attorney Jasmine Rand, who is Caucasian, attorney at my firm, heads up civil rights for Parks and Crump, reminded me that it really is about what Gina Belafonte and Martin Luther King said. You got to judge me by the content of my character, not by the color of my skin. And we got to keep pushing that notion. We keep trying to blame the victims. Well, we got to say it's society's responsibility as a whole that we have to say, no, talk to me, get to know me.
Gina. Gina Belafonte. It's Foxxhole Radio. It's getting deep right now. I've mentioned some things. Michael Baisden, he rose up on me. He rose up on me. He's about to be violent. No, I'm just kidding. But we are raising up some very, for our listeners, strong points, because I got strong-minded listeners out there. We have Gina Belafonte speak on the perception of, are we giving a perception that we are these out-of-control, young, drug selling, popping champagne, oversexed. I know. I'm 46 I'm 46 and I still like to, Anyway,
easy.
But speak on that.
Well, I think everyone's right. Right? Wow. I think that everyone's right. I think that there is certainly a perception out there where, depending on what kind of music you listen to, we are hearing lyrics that are saying things that are really negative to our communities, negative to our women, negative to our young men and boys. And I think that because of the lack of role models and mentorship, there are a lot of young people out there that are aspiring to be like the dude who has all the chains and who has the big car and who has all the money. I mean, I listened even to a preacher today who was out there who was talking about, getting the money and getting the car and all that kind of thing. And I feel we have to do something where we can take back the narrative and reclaim the story and find ways in which our major corporations will invest in a young man or young woman speaking to an incredible beat that is slamming and that we can all throw down to, but that the lyrics are saying something that's positive, that it's not denigrating toward women, that women don't feel like they have to be the image of what they're hearing in the song so that they can get a man to pay attention. So I think that it's a combination of things. And I also think that there's more out there than just that music, but our young people are drawn to that beat. And there's a really interesting film called Hip Hop Beyond Beats and Rhymes that speaks to this issue. And it's really, really important, I think, for young people to see that because, and for older people as well, you see that where young people are caught because they want to try and make a dollar. And they're being caught in having to say things and do things that they don't even feel that they represent, but they have to do it because that's the only thing that the corporation will buy and give them a platform to sing.
You got to be careful, Jamie. I'm telling you right now, and this is a point that she's making that you made. Yeah. We don't own any of these stations that these kids are listening to the music on. We don't own any of the TV stations that they're seeing the videos on. We're not signing any of the contracts that these young men are being asked to sing and perpetuate this misogynistic and violent music. And then we turn around with no power to produce or to distribute this message or this image, and then we blame the kids who are delivering the message, and then the white guy shoots the kid because he's saying, and that guy, Michael Dunn, actually wrote in a letter from jail calling them thugs and that this music and these thugs need to be killed. So all the media is doing and all these corporations are doing is create an environment where people can be justified and looking at us as less than human, as treating our women as that's their image of us.
And but we sells also a lot of guns.
That's their image of us. That's not our image, it's their image.
Hold on, Mike. Now,
go ahead.
No, hold on. Now, I know that I hear that, and I'm part of the old fogey now. And when my sister, South Dallas,
talk to me,
would sit down and listen to at the park, hear a gunshot. Oh, that's Rudy and them over there. They could name the guns of people that were shooting. I personally say, get your little ass out of here. You coming to California, period. I got in my car one time, man, and my sister had drove my car. And I turned it on, and it was blasting, and it started out with gunfire. And I said, what? And I said, man, what is... And I look at it, and the name of the CD was called Ghetto Twins or something. But it started with machine gun fire. And I walk into the house with all of the CDs. I said, hey, we're not listening to none of this. I said, you don't understand that when you listen to all of this, you can never settle yourself. My sister, he right here, Noah, my sister is never settled because of what she digests. Watch this. Hood fights. Anybody ever seen hood fights? Yeah. You can punch up right now on World Star Hip Hop and watch hood fights. And all it is black women squabbing all day long. And I sat with my sister and I said, D, come on. She said, I know, this the real shit right here. And I said, D, but the real for whom? This is where I'm from. I said, can we change it? Is there any way you could be a beacon to them and say, hey, you did this, that, and the other. You now travel this, that, and the other. And can we implement a little bit? Because all I'm saying is this. I think what we miss is, and what we're all saying is, the balance. Like we don't have a balance of somebody that's young, saying, yo, I get that, but here's the balance. That's all I'm asking.
Because money's king.
I know, but when I first heard NWA, here's a little story about a nigga like me. Never should have been let out the penitentiary. Ice Cube would like to say, I'm a crazy motherfucker from around the way. Sister was a youth, I smoked weed out. Now, I'm the motherfucker that I knew every word.
Now.
And I drove down the street like, yeah. Now, I'm not.
But who bought more of that music?
I don't know.
White kids did.
But I know that I had it. So watch this. So when I actually met Ice Cube, are we here now? Or are we there yet?
Are we there yet?
Yeah.
Are we there yet, Ice Cube? When I actually met Mac 10, yeah, they were actually not from that environment, which sort of tripped me out of. So I remember talking to Mac 10. We had an incredible conversation. I said, they banging in Little Rock. He was like, yeah. I said, mainly because when they listen to your music. And then when you say white kids buy it, now I'm just being devil's advocate. When white kids buy it, it's entertainment. They are entertained by us. They say, listen to them. They're entertained. But when they finish listening to their entertainment, they on their way to USC, UCLA, so on, so on. What I say is, when black folks listen to it, it's a blueprint.
I challenge you on that.
Oh, hold on. Listen, I'm gonna challenge you. It's a blueprint, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm from Terrell, Texas. We never had a homicide in Terrell, Texas when I grew up. Not one homicide. Now, there was a kid, 13-year-old, flagged another kid down who's 19-year-old riding a Mustang. I need to holler at you a second. He blows that kid's head off. When he does it, he's riding around in Dallas in the car. Cop stopped him. Said, why you do it? He was rolling on them things. There was a song called Rolling on Them Things that this kid textbook. Now, I'm not saying that all the music is bad, but there is definitely something that when you listen to a whole lot of it, it affects you.
We're agreeing.
Okay.
We're agreeing, but the difference is when you tell me the white kids use it for entertainment and the black kids use it as a blueprint, I challenge you and say the poor white kids probably use it as a blueprint too, because they don't have to worry about stealing that car because their parents can buy it for them. So it has as much to do with economics as it does to do with race, or more to do with economics than it does race. Look, I'm not discounting, and Crump, I'll let you in. I'm a guy that loves to have balance on the radio, obviously.
Yeah.
Parenting is obviously a huge issue in our community. We don't have parents. We don't have men. We don't have balance. You want to talk about balance. We don't have mothers and fathers, as we do in the case with Sabrina and Tracy, who can give their children balance. Our boys don't get love. We don't believe in hugging our boys. We don't kiss our boys. We leave our boys.
That's true.
And so this issue with parenting cannot be understated. That is our number one issue. But dude, don't ever forget the power of media.
Right.
That's why they put a swatch on your shirt and call it Nike, because they know that branding is powerful.
Right.
But when you look at the origins of hip hop, though, and you look at the origins of rap music, it was the modern town crier for those communities of color predominantly that needed to have a voice and a platform and a way in which to express themselves. And so, yes, there was that aspect to it. But then it went to a whole other level of as a commodity, and it was no longer speaking to the truisms of what the struggle in the communities were. It was talking about money. It was talking about you need to have more. It was about consumption. It was about all the things that have nothing to do with real rap and real hip hop. And now there's plenty of singers and rappers and artists out there that are making music that is incredible with language and message, but we're just not having a space and an opportunity and a place and a platform to let it be heard. And I think that it's not just the young rapper that we have to go to ask him to change his music. We need it across the boards, and those that are aging out of their own story, as someone who you didn't mention but you were talking about earlier, they need to take their platform and they need to start messaging in another way, because they're having daughters now, and whose bitches and whose hoes are they going to be when they grow up? Yeah. So they need to really, really reclaim the story and
I got to go clear out some of my music collection.
and Jamie,
and I'm only doing this because our listeners, like I said, our listeners really get involved. They have taken on this issue before of, because I look at it like at a certain point there was that gangster thing that we were all going through. And now it's sort of like the kid who has on the Louis Vuitton beanie, whose parents have already made the money, are now taking on those personas. And my question is are we doing any detriment to ourselves?
Yeah, and Jamie, it's like Gina said, the rewarding thing about this conversation we're having, you're using your influence to change the dialogue, just like her father did back in the 60s. From a legal standpoint, and I have to tell you, I get calls from everywhere now. And we have to remember legal precedents and cause and effect. When they kill black children, when they use guns, they normally get exonerated. Right. I mean, the statistics are horrific how they go home. When black people kill black people, we go to jail. We kill white people, we go to the electric chair.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so it's cause and effect. The systems are in place to dictate in your mind subconsciously.
Wow.
When I kill a white person, I know I'm gone. If I kill a black person, maybe.
1 year.
Yeah.
Maybe. 6 months.
We need to educate our children also and our young people about voting and who they can put in office, because it's not just the presidency that's important, and most people turn out for the presidency, but there's so many other elected officials that are needed to shift and change policy.
And that's another show, because being a civil rights lawyer, they are attacking the voting rights like crazy.
My white engineer's like,
Jay,
let's get a little tight in here.
Because Jay, they are upset about the man sitting at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
So here's the thing. I'm loving all this. It's Foxxhole Radio. It's Jamie Foxx. We're gonna go to commercial. We're coming right back. Don't leave. It's very interesting right now. Miami Gardens, 32nd Avenue,
Carroll City, baby.
Carroll City. Jamie Foxx, Foxxhole Radio. We are back. It has been a very interesting day. I've been blessed by the Trayvon Martin March. It's been fantastic. Sabrina and Tracy were so eloquent. Javaris, how great is that
Great
kid?
Best example of what Trayvon was going to be.
Yeah, and we wanted to allow Trayvon's parents and brother to exit so we could have these conversations and not keep pricking some of those situations, and not to ever make anyone think that Trayvon is that it was his fault or anything like that. But we were talking about, what can we do now? Obviously, Stand Your Ground is a huge, huge situation that we got to get done. And then Gina Belafonte made some very, very interesting points, along with Michael Baisden, interesting points that it is not our fault from what we project. Gina, however, says that we can somehow reshape and get back to... me and Dave Brown ended up having 2 daughters. Like I do have 2 daughters, and it's a little tough.
That's your punishment, you know.
That's my punishment. I was a player, man. But see, being a player, you understand what to tell him. He ain't lying. But it has become a little tough to navigate when you got young daughters. And it's tough. You do change your mind about things. You when you got 2 daughters and you are I policed the music with my sister as best I could. Now she grown now, I can't do nothing, but I do police the music with my kids. Here's an interesting thing though. Parents do not raise us. Parents do not raise us. Within the house, your parents tell you this, that, and then, come on, man. Your parents, but when we get out, what actually raises us is the community and what we do. Like when I got away from my parents, there was this guy that existed back then that doesn't exist now. When I was 9 years old, there was an 18-year-old guy who was the interim of my parent who vocalized the same things they said. So when I was out there wilding, it was Richard Talbot who said, "Hey, what you doing? But your mama will kill you if you don't get your..." I think we've lost that. They taught me about my music. They taught me about how to talk to a girl. They taught me about all those things that, we couldn't really ask our parents these things, but they had great information.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what we're sort of missing now. That Richard Talbot or that Bourbon Brown who made sure when the street lights went on, he says, "Man, I can stay out here because I'm 18. You about to get your head knocked off." So speak on that as well.
That's why mentoring is the number one way to turn this thing around.
Mm-hmm.
That's why 100% of my interest is there. When I led the Gina 6 March, it was to show those young men. See, young men don't feel protected by older men. You just made that point. You said there was an 18-year-old guy. Hell, you can't go to the 50-year-old guy now and feel protected as a young man. And one of the reasons why these young men have respect for me is because they know I stand for something. So I can walk up on any man, whether he's 50 or 15 years old, and the respect is there because I demonstrated. See, there's got to be a demonstration. They don't want to hear talk. See, they're past the talk. They want to see what you're about. So that's why I recruit every male I can get my hands on, because these boys, they want affection. We don't realize how boys are just as sensitive and sometimes more sensitive than girls are. Mm-hmm. So the boys aren't getting any love, they're not getting any affection.
I have John Legend records and Eric Benet records.
You're crazy.
I'm sensitive.
But you know that's true. See, you don't have boys. You and I both have
ordinary people.
You and I both have girls. Mm-hmm. So we never had to be men to sons. But I mentored a lot of young men. I can tell you, I hug all my boys. They're 15 years old, 28 of them. I hug each of them when they come into the room. And that means something to them.
And I've worked with YSN, which is Youth Service Network, with these boys and stuff. And the one thing is, my father always taught me, is about the blueprint. The blueprint is understanding how many black kids know about the NAACP now. That's the blueprint. How many black kids know about the march, about what they did back in the days?
None.
They don't know about it. So we have to give it back. If we don't start talking about the stuff that Martin Luther King and all those that fought and what they've done for us,
they lost. And Dave, do me a favor. Tell people who you are, actually, and tell people who your father is.
I'm David Brown. My father is Dr. Amos U. Brown in San Francisco at Third Baptist Church. And he was 8 students. There were 8 students that were taught by Martin Luther King in one semester. And my father was one of them, Julian Bond, and there were 6 others. And he still has the syllabus, and he still talks about all the things that King taught them. And what we want to do is do a documentary on him to talk about what those 8 students are doing or how they affected society to this day.
As a result
of it. And this is, the stuff that he instilled in me growing up and being a pastor's kid. I haven't been wild, right?
Not wild at all.
No.
So we're gonna finish it all up.
Yeah. I was going to say I do a lot of important cases around the country, Mike and Jamie, but really it's what you do what the children see.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things my law partner and I did, Jamie, this is important, is we chose, even though we're rich and we successful, to build our houses in the black neighborhoods real close, a block away from the projects. So they don't only see the drug dealers. They say, hold on, Attorney Crump is my neighbor. Look what he's doing. So when they see you on TV and then they see that you their neighbor and they see me drive my car to the part where they say, I can be like that, because you can fool a fool, you can con a con, but you cannot kid a kid.
Wow, amazing.
True that.
Gina?
Well, I would say that in terms of my work, which is in entertainment, which is a communications business, it's really critical that we figure out ways in which to reclaim the narrative and tell the stories of our elders, to pass on the legacy of all of the struggles that we've been the beneficiaries of. And I think that, we have to have a greater awareness of who the so-called quote-unquote enemy is. Because every day our communities are inundated with, reality television, lyrics on songs, and all kinds of things that are influencing us and dumbing us down and making us feel like we have no sensitivity to anything anymore. I mean, when you look at not only black men, but white men too, there's never been a real orientation in terms of their way in which they need to love women and see women, and what is real sensitive touch, what is loving, what is really loving. Most men, black or white, are orientated into a sexual relationship through porno. And when you look at something like that, or you look at, the way in which we advertise our commodities, it's all sexual. And so women, feel that they have to live up to a certain kind of image in order to get a man to begin with. And so we need to really, on every level, racial, whether it's women's rights or race issues, injustices, all across the board. There's so many things to look at. There's so many things that we need to mentor. And it does start, certainly, I think, with education and with very young people, and giving everyone an equal playing field and really nurturing learning, and what we're teaching them is critical.
Wow. I want to say this is Foxxhole Radio. That's Gina Belafonte, Ben Crump. That was fantastic. Michael Baisden, I'm going to tell you right now, Michael, man, absolutely the wisdom that you dropped on this, on what all of you have done for our listeners will go through the roof. I'm part of the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. If you need me anytime, I'm coming to the 407. That is not even. And you know what, man? I got the light. But her father is the one who told me.
And I'd like to say one more thing on that note, which is that what I'm doing at this moment with my father, and along with Jamie and others, is that we're creating an institution that will pass this legacy on, that will support and facilitate the alliance between art and culture and celebrity with social justice causes and movements, so that we can use this platform of celebrity and art and culture and beautiful beings in the world to really set an example of what we can bring attention to, and bring people to start understanding and looking at these issues as their own, and people being more stakeholders in what's happening in the world.
Wow. It's Foxxhole Radio. We are having a fantastic time. We're gonna go away. We're gonna have a commercial, and we're coming back. We're gonna talk to Crystal Brown, and this is just one of the people who have not been shown the big spotlight, but they're still suffering as well, and they're suffering because of injustice. We'll be back. A special Foxxhole Radio. It's Jamie Foxx back in a moment.
More of the I Am Trayvon Day of Remembrance Peace Walk from Miami, Florida, coming up.
It's Jamie Foxx. It's Foxxhole Radio. We're in Miami Gardens. It's been a fantastic day, man. We're getting so enriched with this show. We've had a march for Trayvon Martin. Tracy and Sabrina, so eloquent. Javara, so eloquent. It's been a day, though, where we want to get into cases that are not getting the super media spotlight, but still being affected by all of this crazy injustices from guns, whether it be police officers or people who are just exterminating black folks as if it's, I don't know, like it's crazy, like it's a video game. Ben, could you set it up for us? Who's at the table?
Absolutely, Jamie. I'll give you the rundown, and thank you for bringing light to all these families. Sure. First is Crystal Brown. You go. Everybody who has the internet, go and Google execution in a vegetable garden. A brother wearing a seatbelt. They said he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. The police literally have an all-points bullet in a high-speed chase, and he gets out the car and runs. It's all on dash cam video. The police car just crashes into him. They didn't tell his children and his wife that the car didn't hit him. That's what they want you to believe. And so we're fighting that so the police officer can be held accountable. They say he broke 3 policies. He never should have chased him, anything like that. But yet they're fighting to get the honor of his life based on what they see. So that's Crystal Brown's story. Even more crazier than that is Kendrick Johnson's story. And I have Attorney Shaveen King, my co-counsel in Valdosta, Georgia. Their son, 17-year-old, gifted athlete, Jamie, just like Trayvon, great kid. He goes to school with a book bag. He's returned to them the next day in a body bag. And the police, the sheriff of the county says he climbed up into the wrestling mat, got stuck, stopped breathing, and died. Defies all logic, common sense, and all laws of physics. But yet, they won't even change the manner of death from accident to homicide. We know there was foul play involved. And then certainly Oscar Grant's family, everybody saw Fruitville Station. And then I think the legacy that we are following, and Harry Belafonte, Dr. King, Emmett Till's family is here. And I think what Tracy Martin said to you, Jamie Foxx, my son, they're calling the modern day Emmett Till. We were there in Emmett Till Day. We're here in Trayvon Day, and this Trayvon Peace Walk brought all these families together.
I got to say this. It's a little daunting to see all of these people at this table, if I can paint a picture, and they've all lost a loved one, and someone's trying to manipulate it and get away with it. So I thank you for coming here and opening up. And Crystal, I know you were a little apprehensive about getting on the radio, but just tell her how you feeling. Marlon Brown, killed by police, ran over by the car. How do you feel?
We feel that the judicial system has let us down. Yeah. Like Attorney Crump said, there's an actual dash cam video that shows the officer following him into a field, never deviating in path, never decelerating in speed, and a car versus a pedestrian. He just runs him over, and we're being told, number one, that he wasn't struck, and number two, that he did nothing wrong. So my family, my children, we just feel let down, but we're not giving up the fight.
Now, Marlon, talk about Marlon. Give us a personal perspective on who he was.
Marlon Brown, he's a local barber in town. Pretty much cuts everybody's hair in town for free. I think they asked the question at the funeral, how many people have gotten a free haircut from Marlon? And I believe everyone in the church raised their hand. Played the piano for the church. Raised by his grandmother, his mother, and his aunts. Of course, we all stray away. But like the prodigal son, he was trying to find his way back. Right. But it was cut short by the police officer.
For a seatbelt violation.
I mean,
a seatbelt violation at 12 o'clock midnight. They said they could see he wasn't wearing his seatbelt and started this high-speed chase.
It's a lot of anger going on, Ben. It's a lot, and I could do another show about the amount of anger that's going on when it comes to race. We try to de-escalate it, but we just got to keep pushing forward, keep being peaceful. I think this is what's really applauded when you can come and you can be peaceful about it. Nobody's, acting crazy. Give us more of
Kendrick Johnson and Jackie Johnson before we get to the Austin Grant family. Kendrick Johnson, it's just it's a murder mystery. That's what we keep telling everybody. The problem, Jamie, is it's a real life murder mystery. Their son really is gone. And, we're trying to put together the clues to solve this murder mystery, but the sheriff's department and the government officials in Georgia are saying, we don't really want to help solve the mystery. Y'all, why y'all fussing? He's gone. We said it's an accident, even though it defies all logic. Y'all just accept it. Be good people.
Here's a question. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Had it been someone white, would it be different?
Jamie, that's always the rhetorical question. Can you imagine if a white 17-year-old child was found rolled up dead in a wrestling mat at the high school with video cameras everywhere? Wow. And Shavine King and I, we had to sue to get the video cameras released. And so everybody in America is watching. Everybody on CNN is saying, okay, now that we got the video camera, we're going to find out who really killed Kendrick Johnson. Guess what? When he's in the gym, mysteriously, the hour of video is missing in the gym.
Wow. And who do we have here?
His father, Ken Johnson, his mother, Jackie Johnson, and attorney Shavine King, who has been fighting this from the beginning, a great civil rights lawyer.
Ken, I just want to ask, it's Jamie Foxx, Foxxhole Radio, here with Ken Johnson. Kendrick KJ Johnson is his son.
Yes.
How does it make you feel? First of all, how did you feel when you found that your son was passed away? And then how did you feel when you found out that they weren't going to do anything about it?
Well, it was disbelief when I first found out this happened. And just knowing that, all these cases happening all over the world and none of us are getting any of justice. They tried to cover up my son's death. Not only they tried to cover up his death, when he went to have the first autopsy, he went with clothes on. When he come back, they can't find his clothes. We don't know where his clothes is.
So no evidence.
No evidence.
Exactly.
And not only that, let's get into it a little more. When we had his body re-exhumed, all of his organs is missing. His brain, his throat, his tongue, his heart, his lungs, every organ inside his body is missing.
And he didn't have an organ donor?
No.
And that's crazy, Jamie, because that could give us real important information about what really happened to him, but it's missing, and they say it's still not that big of a deal. They keep saying this. All his fingernails were missing. So if he had a struggle with somebody, the DNA and the skin under, they've been cut down.
Can't find it. Could you speak legally and tell us what can Ken do now for his son legally? What's the next step?
Well, we brought a lawsuit against the funeral home, which was first requested to give us an explanation as to what happened to Kendrick's organs. And of course, when we were not given a satisfactory answer, then we went to the Secretary of State's office, and they didn't come back with a satisfactory response. They basically did no investigation. So now we have filed a lawsuit against this funeral home, not for the sake of trying to seek compensation, but to get to the truth.
Wow. It's blowing my mind. I mean, Trayvon Martin is, as we know, that was phenomenal, but this is absolutely outrageous. What are your other family members saying?
Both of them 17 years old.
17 years old. What are your other family members saying?
Miss Johnson.
Yeah, that's your why. Oh, and what's your name, love?
Speak loud.
You got to come up. Oh, I know this is tough for you. But for our listeners, we pay attention, and we just want to know how you feeling about this whole situation.
Still hurt, in disbelief. Kendrick went to school where he was supposed to be, and he never came home to us. Wow. He went to the morgue, then he went to the funeral home, then to the cemetery. So actually, we never got him back home.
Wow. That's incredibly sad.
And Jamie, one of the things that I think this story, if I could call it that, is so clear on is that we have government that is participating in what I think can only be characterized as a cover-up.
Wow.
And whether it's based on race or the difference between a have and a have-not, it's still a violation of what government was supposed to do, and that is to prevent lawlessness, to prevent people from feeling as though they have no other recourse other than to take the law into their own hands.
What do you think it is? What do you think it is? If you were to just step outside of this case, what do you think is going on in the air right now that these types of things are happening?
Well, I had a conversation with a cousin of mine as we were coming down the road here last night, and I'm not quite sure whether this is a response to, say, Obama's having been elected and now people feeling as though they need to vent what it is that before they could never imagine. And then the second thing is that it may not be so much that there is an increase in that sentiment, so much as that through social media, we are more connected than ever. And so what people think, it comes out very quickly. And thus it propels, the growth of an attitude, hostility, and so forth.
What I tell people all the time is that social media is a very interesting animal because, of course, it could be used to help. But 95% of social media is all about stirring up bad emotions. I plead with my daughter all the time, get off the social media and let your mind be free, because when you read something, words do affect you. So when you read something or you see something that says something about someone you like, if you're a supporter of whatever it is that you support, and you see this, that, and the other, and those people that are sort of like, what I say, bubbling under, like in the shadows, when they read these things or launch these evil things, and it always ends up in a racial thing. It's always you monkeys, you niggas, you this, you that, and you just go like, wow, that's really what's going on. So I tell all of my friends out there, white, black, Dominican, Haitian, whatever, I said, pull back a little bit on the social media and just go back to your heart. I want to go back to you, Ken. I want to hear, and my listeners want to hear, just anything that you have, words of enlightenment or encouragement, or what should we do in our social media to help support?
I mean, we all should start standing together, and start standing as one, because just like with Trayvon situation. Me and Kendrick used to talk about Trayvon.
Wow.
When they say that sometimes it's not my child, but it can be anyone's child. Yeah. The same conversation me and Kendrick used to have about Trayvon, me and my wife and my family is walking in the same shoes that Sabrina and Tracy is walking in right now.
Wow. Well,
and we all should stand.
I commend you. Would you, any parting remarks? Or? She has nothing. That's fine. It's fantastic.
Jamie, everybody knows Oscar Grant's story.
Man, you telling me?
And what happened, the fact that the police pretty much had nothing done to him. His Uncle Bobby fought that campaign from the beginning, and he's here standing with Trayvon Martin's family to say, it's not just Trayvon, it's not just Kendrick, it's not just Oscar, it's all our children.
It's tough. First of all, tell us who you are, and tell us how we would know you.
Well, I'm Oscar Grant's uncle. Wanda Johnson, Oscar's mother, is my baby sister.
Wow.
So Oscar, of course, is my nephew, my very first nephew. First, let me just bring greetings from my sister, Wanda.
Wow.
She shares her love with all the families. Of course, she sent her condolences.
You're going to have to get another ringtone or another phone. Something.
Of course, we as the Oscar Grant family definitely share our condolences, and much love to all the families. And I need to say, too, right now at this very same moment, my sister Wanda is on the radio show in Dallas, having this very same conversation with Carol Flanagan, who lost her son in Dallas, as well as Angela Williams, who had lost her son in Florida here. I forget what city, but my sister, as well as Pastor Tyrone, is on the radio show having this very same discussion, which is really critical. But of course, for Oscar's case, for the listeners that may not know, he was killed January 1st, 2009. That is New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Of course, it was in the city of Oakland on the Fruitvale Bark station platform. And as you know, there was a movie that came out behind showing what happened to Oscar. But more importantly, that movie was an expression of the humanity of black and brown men.
Yeah.
Because we know that we as black children have the issues and struggles in life, but yet have a right to life.
Yeah.
And the sad part is the criminalization, the demonization that takes place when our children are murdered wrongfully. And so, of course, we rallied to get justice for Oscar, and we were able, because of the community, and this is what's significant about Trayvon and Sabrina with Trayvon Martin. It was the community that embraced them as well as us. It was the community that stood with them as well as with us. It was the community going back and forth to court with them as well as with us. It was the community that prayed for them like they prayed for us. And it was because of the community unity. You hear what I'm saying, audience? Embracing families is so significant in order for us to stand.
Yeah.
And it's because of that embracement that will bring about the change that we need in our community. So I say to all of you that are listening to this today, hear these mothers, hear these families, understand the pain that we have suffered from the loss of our loved one, and embrace that family. Share your love with that family. And we want to thank you, Jamie, for having this platform for us to be able to express the pain to the community, how important it is. Thank you with much love. And it was because of all that, it was the first time in California state history that a police officer, while on duty, shooting a black man, went to jail. It was just a slap in the face, but he went to jail. The door has been cracked. And so we have an opportunity as the community unite and speak about this issue on a level that you have taken it. I mean, this is tremendous. And so we thank you from our heart.
Well,
thank you.
I want to say this. I accept it, but like someone said out there, man, this is what we're supposed to do. I tell people all the time, I say, hey, usually you get philanthropic or try to save the world once your movie done bombed and ain't nobody listening to your music, and all of a sudden now, I'm gonna go out and save the world and I'm gonna do a music, I'm gonna do a song about it. But why not at your most influential, try to do something? And here's the thing, it ain't me, man. Harry Belafonte sat me down, man. He sat me down. And I remember him saying, and people don't understand, 87, but he has the mind of a 27-year-old. And he said, don't give me none of that super fly-ass nigga shit either. I created it. He said, don't give me none of that about how young you are and how fly and how much money you got. And he said, I created all of this. He said, I took Charlton Heston to the civil rights movement. He says, so I behoove you to get with your friends and get something done. And I want to say this to all of you. We have to wrap the show up, but there are other people, celebrities out there. You may not see them here today, but do not think that they're not thinking about it. When we had Trayvon's parents at my house, Tyrese spoke eloquently, Lorenz Tate, Russell Simmons, all of these people came out. And
Beyonce and Jay-Z have been.
Beyonce and Jay-Z, they had them at the house. So we really, we're really waking up when it comes to this. And I got to give a shout out to Dick Gregory. Years ago, there I am at the comedy club, I see Dick Gregory, and I'm 21. My voice was high. Mr. Gregory, man, I'm trying to get on, man. What should I do? He said, young man, get yourself a radio station. I said, man, why do I want to be on the radio? I'm trying to be on movie films. Why would I be on the radio? He said, because if you get a radio station, you always have a voice. We have a fantastic radio station with Foxxhole, and thanks Sirius for letting us do this and have this type of format, because we are a comedic station, but at times like these, it's necessary.
Hey, one more.
Go.
One more thank you.
Yeah.
And from our family, I'm sure the community, we want to thank Attorney Crump for representing, for really being a leader in the community, because it's his voice that really resonated with, I know in the Oakland community, the world. I mean, that community, and I'm sure the world. So thank you, Attorney Crump.
Thank you, man.
Of course, Jamie.
Emmett Till's family from 50 years ago, it was the catalyst for the civil rights movement, Jamie. We're fortunate to have his family here with us, too.
Let people know who you are and tell them.
I'm Erica Gordon Taylor. I'm a third cousin of Emmett Till. I was reared in the home with his mother, Mamie Till Mobley.
And she's still alive, right?
No, she died 11 years ago. Okay. His grandmother, Alma Spearman, and his stepfather, Jeannie Mobley Jr., from 6 months of age on up. I just want to say, first of all, a lot of these people that we're talking about, Dick Gregory, Harry Belafonte, and many others, I was fortunate as a child growing up to meet these people as they came to the home to sit and talk and just dine with Mamie, Emmett's mother. And I just think that it's important because these are the griots of our days. And we're losing our griots. Who are the next griots? Who are our next leaders? And I think that that's something that as this generation really needs to think about. Who are our new leaders now? Who are we going to look up to as the older ones are passing? Harry Belafonte, how old is Gina? 87 years old.
Jamie Foxx is...
Jamie Foxx. You old, Jamie. No.
He's taking over.
December 13, 1957. I'm 56.
No, I'm just kidding. No. Next year we celebrate, we don't celebrate, we remember Emmett Till. It'll be 60 years since his murder. And it's unfortunate that we're surrounded as we sit here today, and thank you for this platform. We're sitting here today surrounded by 60 years later, Emmett Tills. Mamie Till Mobley called Emmett Till the sacrificial lamb. She said that God loaned her Emmett Till but for a short time, and that his purpose was greater than what she even knew. That was what his purpose was for. He was that sacrificial lamb to expose the ugly face of racism and discrimination. And so I believe that here we are, 2012, Trayvon Martin, again, is a sacrificial lamb that ignited a new movement in our youth and a new generation, because look at what's going on today. It's so rampant. We have so many of our young black boys and our young black girls that are being murdered and being injured due to senseless violence. When I look at Sabrina Fulton, I see Mamie Till Mobley. Her fight and what she's doing fighting to get legislation changed, Mamie Till Mobley was doing that. That's why I gravitate so to this family. I just think that it's important that we continue the work. We have the Mamie Till Mobley Memorial Foundation, and it's important that these foundations, we work with the Oscar Grant Foundation. We did an event with the Trayvon Martin Foundation for the March last August. It's important for all of these community organizations to come together and to unite, because we can do more together in unity than we can standing alone. And so I just think it's important that we mentor our young people. Earlier you were talking about lyrics and music. I was that one that came out against Lil Wayne when he came up with those lyrics last year in February. And it was rough,
That's the predicament that I'm in, because all of these guys, I'm their big brother. So I've had all of these, not Lil Wayne, but I've had, I've thrown parties with 2 Chainz, Drake, all these guys. I appreciate the Drakes in our lives, because Drake, I'm glad he's breaking through, because it's sort of, if you look at the numbers now, the gangster music is dwindling. Nobody want to be on that page right now. Ain't nobody trying to die right now. So I understand what you're saying.
And it wasn't so much, and I'm not trying to, go back, but it's the big thing is, let's just take responsibility a little bit for our younger generation. You've got to look at how can you see the murders, everything that's happening with the Trayvon Martin, the Kendrick Johnsons, the Oscar Grants, the Emmett Tills of this time. How can you see that as young artists and not feel compelled to want to be a mentor, and you're already thrust into a leadership role. Use your lyrics. I'm not saying you don't have free reign, but kind of, influence our young people, kind of mentor them from your perspective. That's all I'm saying,
Yeah, but I think that you don't want to stifle creativity, and with youth comes creativity, and it does goes beyond
Here's
a
what it
certain
is.
point. But what I think there is a failure of is for eldership. We don't have individuals who are going to assume the mantle of being elders, and that counterbalances
because you can't be flying in the club with the elder. Trust me. But it's like you're trying to be flying the club, and you tell someone. Here's what it is. It goes back to this: the uneducated black man with talent is maybe the worst sort of combination, because if you don't know what Emmett Till is, and it's just a buzzword, and it's a word that sort of like in your DNA somewhere, and you've heard it, but you don't quite understand what it is, then you will make the lyric, because and I'm sure they never thought to do harm. It was never. I know that boy. I know that boy when he's 13 years old, and his mom's an educator, and I know. So
a brilliant mind.
He just didn't know. The same with. I use me for an example. If you don't know what Harry Belafonte did, Harry Belafonte said, me and Sydney sit up here and think y'all just dumb, y'all the dumbest. I said, we just don't know. So if there's a way where we can cleverly, with youth, give the education. When you talk about 50 years of Martin Luther King marching, and see how lackadaisical we were on the steps of Washington, it's an embarrassment. When you see in 2008, when President Obama was becoming president, and the black leaders, he'll tell you that I talked to, you going right, man, I ain't going. My seats ain't right. I talked to a dude who could buy this whole place right now. Private jets, holding a big guy. Where you at? Man, my seats was... I said, oh, you're inconvenienced. Wow. I said, I'm sitting with 3 generations of people. I see the mom, the grandma, the great-grandma. The great-grandma, 92. I had her get on the phone with this person. She said, I want to stand up and take a picture with you. I said, no. He said, no, I'm standing up on the day. I said, so we miss some of the most greatest... Like to me, Obama, blew my whole mind. I had my whole family. We all went, and I'm walking, and the door opens, and there's Berry Gordy. Yeah. And then we walking, and I see a little lady walking, and she had a mink on walking. I said, who's the little lady? And it was what's this? Cicely Tyson. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I said, we miss opportunities to celebrate, because for some reason, I don't know what it is, and I'm not saying this like I've been doing this all my life, because I've just had the light turn on, but you feel scared. Mm-hmm. You feel like they're gonna take my money. You feel like they're gonna take my movies or whatever way or I ain't gonna be flying up. Yeah. And then once you actually get into it, it's the most refreshing. I'm walking somewhere in the Deuce. I'm in Spanish Harlem. Yeah. Jamie, buddy, man, you doing Trayvon Martin? Yep. And these people really look at you like it enriches you. It's like the star that was shining became a different type of shine. So what I've been trying to tell all of the guys, and I know we got to wrap things up, but what I've been trying to tell all of these people, man, listen to these stories. I'll send these out to everybody, because for some reason they feel like they're immune to it since we on the hill right now, and it's creeping up the hill, man. At any point, me driving with my man right here, driving to Westlake, California, the most exclusive area in the world, because I like ranches. I want to be on a ranch, and to get pulled over by this dude, and to know that if I did the wrong thing, no matter what the situation was, it could be done. So,
hey, James,
go ahead.
President Obama, good in the point. President Obama told us when we talking about Trayvon Martin, and it was great that he used this great platform that he had, the most powerful man in the world, to talk about what it is to be a young black man in America. And he told us, I was Trayvon Martin 35 years ago. And so it makes you think, what could Kendrick Johnson have been?
Incredible.
What could Trayvon Martin have been? What could Oscar Grant have been? What could Emmett Till have been had they not been taken away from us? Marlon Brown, so many unknown Trayvons.
And one other thing, Jamie, let me say this. I listen to your show from time to time. And I do know that this is a deviation from the normal format.
For sure.
But once again, you are to be applauded for doing what you've done in this particular show at this moment. And I do believe that the more we as a community and as a society talk about race, it won't be a matter of playing the race card. It will be a part of normal dialogue. And I think that we can get some things done if we get over the hysteria of not wanting to mention race.
Trust me, bro. Every joke I tell now, especially with social media, when Michael Jackson, I did the thing for Michael Jackson when Michael Jackson passed, and I'm hosting the BET Awards. Everybody's like, what we gonna do? I said, hey, what we ain't gonna do no, like, he's dead and we down show. I said, I'll take the heat. I'll tell the jokes where they need to be told. So I told the joke that, Michael Jackson belonged to us, but we shared him to the world. And everybody clapped. The next day, I'm doing talk radio. Jamie Foxx, do you hate white people? I remember that. Now, like, why you say that, my man? Well, you said Michael Jackson belongs to you. He said belongs to you African Americans. And you shared him with the world. I said, well, Michael Jackson was black, right? Yeah, but you said he belonged to you. I mean, but does that say that you hate all white people? I said, well, let me ask you a question. How self-centered are you that you just think if I say black people on him that we're saying forget white people? What about the Chinese and the Indians and everybody else all over the world this man's performed for? How come they ain't calling me saying that they upset? They had no problem with it. I don't see one Mexican. The dude went to Peru. This dude's been all over the world. I said, when you say Frank Sinatra, what do you call him? You say Paisan. You say he's from Italy. When you see Jerry Seinfeld, you watch Jerry Seinfeld and say he had the funniest show in the world, and all he did was Jewish jokes. I said, he's celebrating. Why is it that when they speak their race, it's a celebration? When we speak ours, we're racist. It can't be that way. Foxxhole Radio, we've had a great time. We've had a great time. Trayvon Martin, I'm going to tell you right now, keep on living. Hashtag Trayvon Martin forever. Marlon Brown, we miss you. Kendrick KJ Johnson, we miss you. Oscar Grant, Emmett Till, we miss you all, man, and we will do better. Thank you for everybody here. When I die, heaven better be off the chain because I'm having a ball. We out. Foxxhole Radio.